everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man. And if you want to get your money worth, stay right here because you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com.
Wellness policy, and do you think it's good for wrestling, or do you think it should be left up to the individuals?
That's a fair question, because from a perspective of being the independent contractor that's going there to work, especially signing a contract that didn't have the wellness program, didn't have the dress code, and had been amended so many times since I signed it, I thought that all of it, was really asking a lot from us. The wellness program in WWE is the first drug testing I've ever had to take, and I felt like it was pretty violating for them to go inside my body and take my urine and then tell me if they're cool with what I have in my body. I'm responsible. I know how to take care of myself, and I don't need somebody, looking out for me in that way. At the same time, there's a lot of wrestlers that aren't responsible and that will surely die if somebody doesn't do something, to dissuade them from the road that they're going on. The wellness program is one way of finding those individuals with problems, because they walk around not having a clue that taking 2 months worth of pills in one day is going to kill them. And, I think that it is an option. I think also, just having role models and having like the climate change like it has and will continue to do so is also a good idea. Back in the 80s, it was all about partying. When came to WWE and the NWO came in, those guys stood out like a sore thumb because it was now a professional company with all these businessmen, and here these guys come in like it's still the 80s, stumbling around the dressing room. They didn't last long, and I wasn't surprised, because they really stood out. Congress is investigating wrestling, so really there's no choice in the WWE right now, from my understanding. I'm just glad that they're investigating all of wrestling and not just WWE, because they have blurred the line between Vince's wrestlers and wrestling. The fact is, most wrestlers don't work for WWE. Most wrestlers aren't at the top, Is it a good thing overall? I don't know. It definitely makes the job extremely challenging, because the demands of the job, of the traveling, the performing, the keeping the shape, trying to keep your workouts, trying to do that without anything, to help you sleep or to help you with pain or to help you wake up or to help you with your drive or to help you recuperate. Basically, I think that in society overall, I think that it's wrong. Within a job, then I think it's probably appropriate. It's a compromise that we make. I never had a problem giving them my urine, even though I felt like it was violating. I think that really it's something that a lot of jobs do. They require drug tests from their employees. In this particular case, we're not employees. We're independent contractors that weren't getting drug tested for years before we came in. So it's a little gray area. Is it a good idea? I guess right now with Congress breathing down their necks, it's a damn good idea to look like they're doing something. It is legit too, by the way. I mean, you really are peeing in a cup and handing it to them. There are ways around the test that, unfortunately, for the test, a lot of athletes know how to do, but
that's not just in wrestling. That's
that's everywhere. But overall, I think the society tries to push everybody towards cigarettes and alcohol. Cigarettes and alcohol. That's what it's all about. That's where they make billions and billions of dollars, and that's why they prohibited marijuana, and that's why they want drugs to stay outlawed. Alcohol used to be illegal, back until 1934, and they turned that around, and now people think that's ridiculous. They think that would be ridiculous. They can't imagine that, back in 1934, marijuana was the only legal drug we had in the country, and now it's all changed around, and it's based on political agendas. People don't realize that, but it's all about what the government can make their money from.
Right. It's not based off what's worse for society, because people don't smoke marijuana and beat their kids or.
Not to mention, I mean, if you want to talk about just facts, there are 0 cases reported in any medical journals of lethal overdoses of marijuana. You can overdose from anything. In fact, cigarettes kill 1 in 5 Americans every year. And I'm not saying 1 in 5 smokers. I'm saying 1 in 5 Americans. Over 450,000 Americans a year die as a direct result from tobacco smoke. Nicotine is one of the most addictive drugs we've ever known, but yet it's not only accepted, it's pushed on society. It's pushed on people. You're almost expected to smoke, to be cool. And that, to me, is crazy. I don't want to take anybody's rights away to smoke cigarettes, but if we are going to outlaw something, shouldn't we go for something like that instead of a harmless weed that grows in fields that basically has a purpose, unlike cigarettes? I divide it into 3 categories, the argument on marijuana. There's recreational, there's medicinal, and then there's material. Over 25,000 products can be made from hemp, which doesn't even have THC. We can run cars on hemp seed oil, cars that are made of hemp fibers. Henry Ford did that. People don't know about that. The medicinal values, we got 12 states that have legalized it with a doctor's recommendation right now. We got 5 more on the way. People don't see the movements that are being made, and it's all because logic eventually, I think, has to take over greed and evil agendas. I truly believe that. The drug testing overall, I'll tell you what I think is a better idea, because we started the wellness program after Eddie Guerrero died of heart disease and an enlarged heart. How about we measure the boys' hearts? That's one of the first things I did after Eddie died. I went to the doctor. I got checked for heart disease. I got all my blood levels checked on my own. I had my heart measured, because I wanted to know. A lot of wrestlers die of enlarged hearts. But people think, because of the media's distortion, people think that wrestlers are all hooked on all these drugs and that they take steroids and it kills them. Magazine recently did a story reporting like 66 wrestlers that died under the age of 44. Did you happen to see that story?
No, I didn't see that. But, I've heard similar things.
Well, of course you have. But what you might not have noticed, and what I noticed, was there was only 3 cases where they actually mentioned steroids. One of them mentioning steroid as GHB, which of course GHB is not a steroid. So now we're talking about 2. But anyway, 2 to 3 cases out of 66 linked to steroids. But the people don't think that. They think that all 66 of them died from steroids. And let's look at the facts and let's really look at it. So I think the wellness program shouldn't only have all these substances, many substances, which are actually over the counter, like ephedrine. You can take ephedrine. You can get it at any gas station, but a WWE wrestler cannot because it's on the banned list. Some of that, it's very extensive, and at the same time, why don't they measure the boys' hearts, which is the most common killer? And that's also, by the way, common with people who aren't wrestlers. They die of an enlarged heart. We all know people that have that. And it's also referred to as an athlete's heart. Just from athletes, it's common to have enlarged hearts, How about we do that? How about we check out their blood levels and we see what's really going on inside of people's bodies instead of just coming up with a list of medicines that could be used appropriately or could be abused at the same time.
Overall health, not just, whatever they might be taking.
Well, of course. And when it comes to whatever they're taking, I'm a firm believer in appropriate usage of modern medicine. Before we invented penicillin, we were lucky to live to be 30 years old. So now if the doctor recommends to you that taking, 10 milligrams of hydrocodone can help your quality of life because you have chronic pain, then why the hell not take it? Just because it can be addictive is not a good enough reason for me. There are abusers, but there's also appropriate use, and I'm a firm believer in that.